This is NSR.
We're talking today to Ryan from Club Paradise. You are a four-piece Geordie band, and you've recently had endorsements from BBC Introducing, Radio 1 and Radio X, all of which are completely massive. So I wanted to ask you guys, you obviously met in school. And so was it your love for music that kind of brought you guys together? Or were you like mates beforehand and then kind of realised you wanted to start making music together?
It was a bit both, really. We when we started out, it was, I don't know, we were like 15, 16 or something like that, and we did a bunch of different things where we would play music together just for a laugh, and then we also sort of just hung out together, and everything just kind of keep pointing in this direction. And then one day in school, one of our teachers wanted us to play some music for them, and then we were like, all right, and then so we had a jam in front of the whole school, and then we were like, okay, let's try that out. And then we've just been doing that for the last 10 years.
There you go, love it. So do you think that kind of like growing up in Newcastle in the North East, do you think it kind of impacted your music and kind of drove you to music?
Definitely there's an element of that. I think we spent so much of our lives in venues just watching other musicians and learning and seeing what they do and taking like sort of inspiration from that. And that's kind of like where we hang out. Loads of people go to, footy matches and all that sort of thing. We just go to gigs.
Yeah,
so I think that's where we get that from. Whether they're touring bands, whether they're local bands, I don't really think it makes a difference as long as we like it. But the scene up here now, more so than ever, is amazing. When we started gigging in Newcastle, like it was around 2011 and 2010 time, and people were just playing like Blink-182 covers all the time for the most part, and like not really doing anything for themselves. And the local scene, there were obviously people who did do it, but if you go to so many of them, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff. Yeah. And then like now, it's hard to find a band who are sat doing covers. It really is hard to find that, and it's amazing because like the creativity out there is
just thriving, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So of course, Do You Feel the Same is your latest single. And what kind of inspired it, and what can fans who might not have heard it yet expect from it?
So I'll take the first part first. The inspiration behind that one is kind of bashing my head against the four walls I've been stuck in for the year, because it's just been so frustrating, like everyone's felt the same way, haven't they? Just kind of stuck in this place where we can't do it. I mean, today it's opened back up, but I mean, I'm not going to be going out without a mask. I'm not going to be
it's madness, isn't it?
Into all that stuff. So, like, kind of the frustration of that, but also with that, for me, and this is just my take on it, is that I've had a terrible time with anxiety from that, and sort of wondering what it's going to be like when we can sort of be normal again, and if anyone's going to feel the same way about what the things we used to do, or if people are going to move on to different parts of their lives. It's just a big vent of anxiety. That's what it is. And if you haven't heard us before, I guess what I would say is it's kind of like an 80s cruiser. It's got these big synths and brass in there. It's really nice, and you can wind the windows down and drive around with it on really loud. Feel it a bit more.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It gives me it kind of reminds me of like driving down to Plymouth from uni. Like it gives me such like major road trip kind of vibes.
Well, yeah, we live like down on the coast. So our big test for that song when we got the mix back was, let's go in the car, let's drive around with it and see see what happens. And we got the first one back, and I think we made like one change, but we were like, holy shit.
This is it, yeah. So yeah, on that kind of like wavelength, if you had to maybe pick, say, 3 songs that have kind of soundtracked your life or changed you or kind of made you the musician that you are, have you got any idea what they would be?
Oh, do you want collectively for the band, or do you want for me personally?
Could I have both?
Okay, so that's a hard one. So I'll try and tackle the band one first. Whenever we've gone anywhere and played any gigs, like we've had to like tour anywhere, we always listen to White Lie's first album.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a track on that one which we covered a couple of times just for like live sessions and things, and it's called EST.
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely put EST by White Lies in there for all of us collectively.
Yeah.
We also really like American country music. So before we play any show, we'll be like behind, like, because we get really, like, doesn't matter where we're playing, we still get like, bit of adrenaline, bit of nerves. It's all good. And I think there's a track called "That's My Kind of Night," and I'm definitely going to put that one in the mix there. And then the third one for us, that song, by the way, is just very much pickup trucks, 4th of July. It's got a lyric about having a catfish dinner. It's very, very insane.
I'm going to have to check it out. I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's just hilarious. Like, it shouldn't slap as hard as it does. and then I think the third one for us as a band would have to be a song by The Midnight. And The Midnight are these, like, LA duo who, if you've not heard of them before, are quite synthwave, quite much on the 80s side of what we do, and we are just like super fans of those guys. So I would choose, or maybe it's it's a hard one to know for them, but maybe it's like Neon Medusa. They've got a song called which has this like really cool guitar solo in, and for the Do You Feel the Same has a really cool guitar solo in, so I'll just go for that one. And then, if you want my three, I guess...
it's a tricky question, I'm sorry.
It is, but it's all good. I think for me, I'd have to have Bombay Bicycle Club in there. I'd have How Can You Swallow So Much Sleep? Just always like been massive fans of those. I think I'd have Robin, and It's Not My Own. I think that's
Toon.
I think a song that is hard to beat, and I don't feel like you know what I mean. It's just a sad bop. Who doesn't like a sad bop?
No, can't beat it.
And then there's a really really cool song called Dad Dancing by a band called Goodnight Goodbye, which I think I'll throw that one as well. It's like that's really 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 nice song just to listen to. Very wholesome. Makes you think like, oh God, I wish I could write music. They're amazing.
Oh, amazing. I'm going to like come away from this interview with like a playlist of music I need to listen to now. So I guess we kind of talked about, like the pandemic and, oh God, we're all sick of it. So some musicians have said that they kind of like thrived in lockdown and had like, I guess, a new lease of creativity because there's been nothing else to do. Whereas others have kind of, missed out on the touring aspect and seeing their fans. So would you say that lockdown's been more of a blessing or more of a curse for you, like, as a band?
I think it's had it's been a bit of both. I think when we played our last gig in Newcastle on the Saturday before we went into lockdown, and that was like our own headline show at Cobalt Studios.
Oh, cool.
And that was the last time we gigged in Newcastle, and at that point everyone was kind of like, what's going to happen here? And we'd just been touring around the country, so I ended up getting COVID 2 days after that gig, and was like just out of it for weeks. Like I couldn't just move at all.
Oh my God.
It was terrifying. And then I think after that, when I was better and stuff, we recorded like we've got another 4 or 5 songs that are already ready to go because of the time that we had where we were playing live.
Yeah.
But I think it gets to a point, doesn't it, where no matter who you are, no matter what you do, it gets to a point where it takes its toll on you, and you kind of, people resort to doing all those amazing TikToks and things, and just hold my hands up to those guys, because that's such a hard thing to try and capture when you are musicians. It's hard to go from that, and like my job is a video editor, so I do full time, but I can't. I find it hard to go from the music to push from that into video because it's just very separate things. So hands up to those guys because they're amazing. All the bands who've done that, we struggled on that front, and we've kept our recording stuff going. But I think more than anything, we just want to play music live.
Yeah, get back out.
Everybody's feeling that now, no matter who they are.
It's just incomprehensible, isn't it? It just kind of hit us so quick and
Yeah. And like we've started to get a few emails through now asking us to go to London and things, and nothing's confirmed just yet. But like we're kind of still. Is it time yet? Should we hold off for our own goods? Do we jump the gun and just go for it because we really miss it? It's a hard one to read,
it's such a free-for-all. Everyone seems to have like a different opinion and different ideas about it, and there's kind of like no guidance whatsoever, is there? Like
it's absolutely terrifying, and I think like we've kind of just been saying amongst ourselves, like we're going to do what we feel comfortable with and what we feel safe with, and hopefully that's going to be enough to keep us all going.
Just got to do what's best for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But as well, like if you had to, on the topic of music, if you had to describe to someone who's never heard of your music, how would you? coming at you thick and fast with these questions. How would you describe your music and like your vibe to someone who's never heard it?
Well, there's two kind of types of songs that we've had. I think we've had some which have been like really indie floor fillers, and like those are completely different to where we're at now. But I think for the most part, I would tell them it is an 80s driving montage. That's what I'd go with. Down on a sunset, get the roof down. Like, do you feel the same? Encapsulate that for the most. But we've had songs like Teenagers and another one called Kirby Kager, which I think really sit there as well. So that's what I'd go for.
I love that. That's exactly how if I had to as well. Just proper like serotonin bangers. Cool. And of course, so have you, on the topic of festivals and so-called Freedom Day, have you got any kind of festivals lined up, or as you said, are you holding out?
We haven't got any festivals lined up. No, we're very, very much sitting back on that.
Yeah.
As well, a lot of the festivals are trying to keep the lineups as similar as possible from cancel it all. So, one of those things is you let all the other artists carry forward, and then we've kind of decided anything that came forward, we sit back on a few just because of the situation. But we have announced our return headline show in Newcastle, which is again going to be at Cobalt, because we thought what better place to kick it off again from where we left off.
That's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be on the 2nd of October, that one. Yeah, really excited. Can't wait for that. And the tickets are already flying, which is amazing because we've had a year off and people are still interested in us.
Yeah, I definitely want to be there. Yeah.
Come along, it'll be great. That'll be really cool.
I will. Thank you so much. Well, that's all of my questions for you. It's been so amazing talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Well, we'll be definitely sure to check out Do You Feel the Same? And I hope you have a lovely, safe, hopefully COVID-free summer.
You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
NSR.